Hello and welcome to Bad About Sports for yet another live stream. And we're just a few minutes away from India versus Australia for T20I. The series is that India are leading even now with 2-1, though Australia had a tremendous fight back in Thiruvananthapuram where they came back hunting down. But now it isn't to be, to be very honest, this is a very interesting game what we have had. Two games where India really showed what they can do. Glenn Maxwell's extremely good innings, which put India in the back foot. Krishna going for 68 runs, but the action has shifted to Raipur now, where India would know that if it's 2-all coming to Bangalore, anything is possible. But also for Australia, Glenn Maxwell and rest of the folks who were part of the World Cup winning squad have travelled back to Australia. So a little bit of a reprieve for India, and also Shreyas Iyer will be back from this game onwards. I want to and Sai will start off with Sai. Sai, how do you see the series so far? I mean, you can say it's been like almost like a dead rubber kind of a series when it comes to atmosphere. People are not that excited about it. Right after World Cup, people are still regaining, their interest back into the sport because you invested a lot of time into that World Cup. Now, all of a sudden, a T20 series looks like a down card.
Yeah, this is an important series because for the preparation point of view as well, because right now the auditions are going on, right? So for the opening slot or even for the whole 11, right? But we know that the same almost 90% will be the same team which just had played in the last World Cup. So they will be the almost 90%, but still the remaining 10-15% will be new players, right? So those new players will be from this squad based on the performance we have because we only have less than 10 T20s, to be honest, right? So it's very difficult for the management to pick out kind of the squad, World Cup squad at the end of the phase. That's why this series is also important in terms of for that selection point of view. If you
Yeah.
look closely, players like Rinku or Yashashvi or in terms of Ravi Bishnoi, so these are the players who will be considered for the selection if you talk about for the World Cup point of view. So yeah, I feel this is a chance for the youngsters kind of to show their skill sets and to kind of like Ishan did from the last around 1 year, it's very hard to keep him out, right? So the same thing these youngsters need to do so that it will be extremely hard for the management that how can we kind of remove this player, how can't we include this player.
Yeah. Yeah, Antariksh, coming to you right now. Now, we did see that Ruturaj Gaikwad's 100, isn't it? Because that was one phenomenal 100, what you saw. He looks like he really wants it. He really wants a place in the T20 World Cup squad. You reckon this is the time to invest in a player like Ruturaj Gaikwad as well? Because he's done well so far in the series, 3 games. He has done extremely well. That 15 Trivandrum did a decent, though he did not get to score a lot of runs in that first game when he got out for a duck without facing a ball. But since then, he's looked good. At least after the 15 Trivandrum, he's gained a lot more confidence. At least when it comes to his range hitting, he's been able to convert those 50s into big hundreds. Something which you see him do even with CSK, isn't it?
Absolutely. I really love him. I see him, as a very long term prospect in ODIs, right? Like my big long term plan for this guy is like to see him in ODIs. He's someone, he gives me a glimpse of, I don't know, not in his class or something, but just the way he rotates the strike, just the way his pure shot selecting ability, he sort of gives me the vibes of Virat Kohli in an ODI format, wherein he's one player who can construct his innings throughout those 50 overs without going for a rash shot here and there. I see a bit of that in Shubman as well, but we see with Shubman he sort of gets on the nerve a bit too much sometimes. But with him, I really love his stroke play. I really love his flow. I really love his his bottom hand, the way it comes into the play when he plays the shots, when he especially when he flicks the medium pacers. So I really love the player. And in terms of ODI, he is one player who sort of tells the whole world this is how you pace a T20 innings, right? You don't need to if you have the time, if you want to play that anchor role, this is how you do it. And with Yashasvi Jaiswal on the other end, it's good. It is very good. Finally, for a change, we're going before a good amount of time before the World Cup starts, so which is always good. irrespective of the result that the World Cup brings, our preparation should be good. So it feels very nice to have that settled pair in. So yeah, I'm very happy with Ruturaj Gaikwad. I heard Sai talking about Ishan Kishan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't fancy. I he's two players in this squad that I don't really fancy too much. Our Abel knows this one, Prasidh Krishna. Irrespective of what happened in the recent game,
Yeah.
I don't just
I agree
it
with you.
baffles
Krishna, Krishna is not a T20 bowler even for me because he doesn't bring me a skill set of a T20 bowler, regardless of the fact that he's a 10 crore buy for Rajasthan in the IPL, which is still a flabbergasted. I'm still flabbergasted by that, to be very honest, because
yeah.
I can't understand how a bowler of Prasidh Krishna's level can even go for 10 crore. I'm not disregarding his ability with the red ball and even in the longer formats. I think he's a very good bowler. But T20 is not his kettle of fish, you can say. He's much more a one-dimensional bowler who can hit the length hard, make the batter to play ahead, and maybe
I
much more in test
I,
format.
I don't know. I don't get it, Abel. Like, why aren't we like we discussed this about Umran Malik as well? Like,
Yeah,
is it that difficult for these guys to see that they are old school, hit the deck hard bowlers who can actually bowl one length for a consistent amount of time if given the right nurturing and with a good
yeah,
amount of pace. You test
yeah,
them out in the red ball format. You are
yeah.
testing them out in the very sort of the wrongest, I'd say, possible format. T20s for Prasidh Krishna, for Umran Malik, just not cut out for me.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I totally agree with you on even in this regard because I'm not sure as to what is the future for Prasidh Krishna. But let's look at the squads once again, isn't it? As look, before that, we'll just look at Prasidh Krishna's legs as well in this so far in this series, how he has been. Sai, what do you want to talk about this? Because Prasidh Krishna has been such a a demotivating factor for even for Team India in the recent past. He's not really been able to convert that starts which he has had in the power play to mid overs, and especially in the death, he has gone for plenty of runs. Even in IPL, he had gone for a lot of runs, even death overs. He does not have the skill set, you can say so.
It's about his kind of the flow he have. He don't have very much variations in his whole spell, to be honest. And the same thing kind of replicates on the screen. You can see. So he don't have a single wicket in the power play, right? And in the series so far, he took only 4 wickets, and three of them came in the death overs. That simply says because in the death overs everyone goes for runs. And in that case, the opponent do lose wickets, right? So it's not the bowler who do the work in the death overs. It's about the kind of the opponent who fails to convert. That's the case happened with him in the series. And for a bowler, it's all about power play because in the power play, every bowler has a better chance to get the wickets. And over there, he failed completely. He went over 16 runs per over in power play. Same goes with middle overs around 14. So nothing changed a lot, right? And the issue I feel is about the variations. He don't have too much variations, which is required to the format because this format is very fast paced. And if you kind of follow the pattern continuously, then the opponent will get to know about it and they will quickly realize that this is the kind of flow or this is the kind of pattern he's following and he
Yeah,
won't change a bit. So that's the
absolutely.
reason I feel.
Absolutely. But I want to talk about the squads right now because I feel a lot of selections are still questionable, even with Team India and the T20I format to start off with. Because today we are talking about T20I. We'll give a lot more emphasis on the T20I squad to South Africa right now, which was announced yesterday. Now, for me, few names. Obviously, the one day squad had a lot of new names, but whereas in the T20 squad, Deepak Chahar makes a comeback, which is great. Mohammad Siraj is there. But that one name which still baffles me a lot is Mukesh Kumar Antariksh because for me, he's not had a good IPL, and as per selectors, they have a narrative that only if you have a good IPL backed up in a domestic format, you can make a team. You can make it into the India's squad. Let it be any format. For me, I'd agree Mukesh Kumar in the Test format because he's had a phenomenal time in the domestic circuit in the red ball format. But having said that, there are better bowlers in the IPL and even in the Syed Mustaq Ali Trophy who are much better with the wide ball when it comes to pace bowling. And why does Mukesh Kumar get that extra bit of door ahead out of a lot of other bowlers? Does it make any sense for you?
Exactly. I mean, there are a lot of selections that just about don't make any sense to me. I don't know what's going on with the captaincy because now we're moving now. Now that reactionary series is over of
Yeah,
out of the World Cup. We're moving into sort of good preparation territory now, going abroad and playing matches, right?
yeah,
So I don't know what's up with the captaincy thing. Who's going to be here is because Rahul seems to be the captain sometimes, right? Of course, Hardik Pandya is going to come back, and then we're going to see him in action. But then again, he disrupts the whole team thing. And one thing which, I'm going to come to Mukesh Kumar, but another sort of thing which really baffles me yet again, like in this series, we're doing the same mistake. I don't like the fact that we need to go with five ballers. I don't think, right? If I can see Shivam Dube, I am so disappointed to not, see Shivam Dube. He's not been given a chance till now. He is that one player who can be, our modern day Yuvraj Singh. He is like I'm not comparing the abilities or anything. I'm just comparing the role, that these guys can play. Ravindra Jadeja, Ravichandran Ashwin, I know he's not there, but still, these guys can bat, blah, blah, 20 ka average, 110 ka. No, I want a batsman who can bat properly and then give you 2, 3 overs on a decent day. And I want that. And we're doing the same mistake again. We're going with five ballers, with batsmen who can barely put a hand on the ball. And I don't really like it. Even this series, 5 wicket ke baad, it just feels, again, we're overperforming in our top 3, 4, 5. That's why it doesn't feel. But just then we're final ki tarah, we'll have 3, 4 wickets going down. Then we'll really feel what's really missing. So I
yeah.
don't really like the format of the Indian team going hard
But
with five
now
ballers.
let's talk about the captaincy dilemma as well. Atul. I'll just add to it. There's a lot of question marks as to Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma's place in the T20 format to start off with, and who's going to captain India's T20 team. Why can't the selectors and BCCI clarify it for once and for all? Rohit Sharma is the T20 captain, and he will be back in the squad. Otherwise, there is going to be a lot of confusion. Even people who are not captaining will have that sigh of hope that, okay, what if we might get this call, or what if I am the captain? For example, Hardik Pandya, for the matter, he's not playing because he's injured. But if Hardik Pandya has been already given that nod ahead that you are going to be captain of the T20 format, make it clear. So there's no more confusion with 5 months to go for the World Cup, that who's the captain and who's not the captain.
Yes, you are absolutely right. I mean, there, you know what, like seeing the way the situation is played over the last 8, 10 months in T20s. Now, what do you do? Like, अब तुम हार्दिक पांड्या को हटाओगे वापस से captain Rohit Sharma. And Rohit Sharma seriously can't play in a team and not captain it now. So it's a bit messy as it always is with BCCI Indian cricket at the start of any new event, new preparation. Hopefully, dust settles down. अब मुझे नहीं समझ आता. I genuinely don't get it. Like, ठीक है. I don't know, did Dhoni start this trend? I've seen this way too much. ये विराट कोहली का हर 1, 2 साल में हम लोग बस we just give him a vacation of 3 months. I mean, due respect to him and Rohit and everyone around, but क्या हो गया ना? सब खेल रहे हैं ना. Travis had won the World Cup for his team and then he was playing, right? Win or loss, okay, you recharge your batteries, everything, but then सबको कर like why only Kohli and Sharma and then Bumrah is all these the guys who get the A-list contract of BCCI, 7 crore साल का or whatever they get there. I mean, I don't get it, right? Shreyas Iyer back, Rahul's back, Surya is back. Surya played he also lost the World Cup. So, मुझे ये थोड़ा गलत लगता है. These guys just going off mode, Dhoni style. Dhoni retired, right? So hopefully these guys don't, but they go off mode. No, ना मैं captain हूँ, ना मैं player or anything. This just brings in a lot of confusion. I'm so sorry. Yeah. So yeah, I
Absolutely.
just feel there. So yeah, there's a lot to sort out now. Shubman Gill, Ruturaj Gaikwad, Yashasvi Jaiswal. You already think who are you going to drop at the top of the order because these two guys are just going phenomenally and Shubman. So if you add Rohit Sharma in the mix, then the captaincy, then Hardik Pandya, it's a khichdi.
Yeah, it makes sense. But Sai, I'll ask you a big question over here, because a lot of people also want to know: would you have Virat Kohli back into this T20 mix of things? Because he's not played T20 for what, like 1 year now. The last match he played was against England in Adelaide. The last game we lost in the T20 World Cup semi-final. Since then, he has not played in the T20 International. Similarly with Rohit Sharma, similarly with Mohammad Shami, and Bumrah hasn't played for 2 years or 3 years now in the T20 format game. Obviously, Bumrah, you would have him walk into any team because of his bowling strength. But when it comes to batting strengths, you have questions when it comes to an approach a batter takes, temperament, then it comes to skill set, because the World Cup is going to be played in the Caribbean and USA. The pitches over there are slower. Now, you reckon Virat Kohli can come into a surface like that, or into the scheme of things, especially When it comes to records, there is no denying the fact that Virat Kohli is the greatest T20 batter to have come out of India. But does he fit into the mix of things? Now let's look at the squad once again for that.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it will be there. And as I said, around 90% of the squad in terms of playing 11 will be as it is because we don't have much time to do experiments, right? And this Indian squad we have seen from last around after COVID, every World Cup we played with the same team itself, right? And even for the WTC final or in terms of T20 World Cups or ODI World Cups, everything, the top order, almost the batting order is almost equal in every World Cup, to be honest, right? So the same thing will follow again because we don't have much time to do much experiments. And if Rohit will come, then how can you keep Virat outside, right? So eventually these two will come, and if Rohit and Kohli will come, then how can you keep KL Rahul outside? So eventually it will be as
KL
it is.
Rahul is even going to be considered. I think KL Rahul is officially axed at this point because, or else he would have been part of the T20 squad. Remember, if you look at the one day squad, he is the captain, which is going to be played
Yeah.
almost the same time. He is part of the one day squad, but not part of the T20 squad. He's also the keeper in the Test squad. So I can understand that KL Rahul is officially axed unless he has a phenomenal IPL where he sets it on fire. Then you'd have to ask questions as to whether you want to take KL Rahul or not. As of now, KL Rahul is axed, is my opinion. Virat Kohli, there's a question mark. Rohit Sharma is still ahead in that race because of what he showed in that World Cup as well, with that explosive starts which he gave.
Yeah, I mean, KL will there because the tour will start with the T20Is, right? And maybe that's the reason he may have asked for the leaves for the T20Is, and then we have ODIs, and then we have Test, right? So for the next two formats, he is there. The first format, which is the start of the tour,
KL Rahul is my question because you have a Shubman and a Yashasvi who was right up there, and if Rohit is going to come back, there is Ruturaj as well. So the pecking order is definitely Yashasvi, Shubman, and Ruturaj. Then where do you fit a KL Rahul? Because the Rohit also is going to be there. You have four openers, you can only choose two.
I mean, it will be completely based on keeper, right? Because we don't have any keeper, to be honest. And Ishan in the World Cup keeping is very difficult, to be honest. He didn't fit in that kind of appropriate manner. I feel KL will be there because we don't have any keeper. We had the option of Sanju. We do have Jitesh. I feel is he here in this squad?
Yeah,
Yes,
Uh,
he's
yeah.
there. He's there.
yeah. So yeah, but they won't play him to be honest, right? So the only option left is Kale, right? Sanju was there. Then we had Jitesh option and Ishan Kishan, and the only option to play these two Ishan and Jitesh in the place of Kale, which is not going to happen. We all know that. So eventually, Kale will be there as a keeper in terms of middle order batting.
Well, that's interesting. KL in T20 as a middle order batter. I mean, he's
Did
done this.
Yashasvi Jaiswal keep as well at some point of time
No,
or no?
no, Ruturaj
No.
keeps.
Okay, Ruturaj keeps, right.
Ruturaj keeps.
Yeah, I mean, I did not see the whole keeper angle, to be honest, like very closely, right? So I still think it's a bit far fetched for KL Rahul. It's like, like I keep saying this always, Sai, right? कि Indian cricket board na, they almost go like we guys, हम बहुत vibes पे चलते हैं rather than ideologies or वो. So the vibe around the town right now is that KL Rahul already had that blot of being a tuk master, right? And then he somehow got rid of that. He played a couple of blinders here and there, and then came the World Cup final. So up the vibe heavily, like he is anything but a T20 batsman. He could be the best batsman in any other format, but a T20. So
I still
totally,
think he's not the ideal fit for a number five in a T20 format. Otherwise, he should play
right.
the entire IPL at number five. If he's going to open in the IPL, then come to Team India at number five, that's a wrong narrative. If he's going to take up that role, keep for Lucknow this season, and also bat at number five for Lucknow, then we'll, or at least number four to say the
That's
least.
the thing.
Yes,
That's the thing, Abel. That's the thing, Abel. Right? Indian team is not position oriented when it comes to newbies. They're not position. So
I still
it's
think,
like
actually, for me, I might just offend a lot of fans, but the fact of the matter is, I don't see Virat Kohli fitting into this team because this team has played for last 2 years at least together. This young bunch of guys, and they are forming a shape now. still see the same team go to T20 World Cup, and it'll be the best for India that this same team goes, because now if you have to change the squad over the period of IPL and bring a new bunch of guys in the T20 format, that's going to send firstly a wrong message. Secondly, it's like you have had zero preparations. All what you have is the South African T20s and three T20s against Afghanistan in January. That's it. Because next year is all about test matches, five test matches against England, two in South Africa this year already. Then you have so many. At the end of the year, you're going to Australia for test match, completely packed with close to 18 test matches. So you have very few T20s. So India will have to make a choice. That is either go with the same squad or then,
Yeah.
as you said, go with the vibe as what you want to do. And then see where things go. Because that's our idea. Because at least in one day World Cup, you had solid 6 months of preparation. That's what translated
Right.
us to performing so well. We won
When
the
is the
Asia Cup.
T20 World Cup?
Yeah.
When is the T20 World Cup? In which
June,
month?
right after the IPL final. That's it.
IPL will have an impact for sure. Like I for sure. Like that's the thing, as I was saying, right? कि जब भी किसी new player की बात होती है, whenever it's about a young player or a new player, in inexperienced player, we are very position oriented. So like we have not been able to give Sanju the calls because we have had keepers, middle order here. But when it comes to high profile players, we ship all of that. Like if Rahul opens the whole of IPL and he's like the second highest run getter, we don't care, we have four openers, हम राहुल को डाल देंगे, उसके बाद देखेंगे
You
उसको
know,
कहाँ
Ankush, for
खिलाएंगे.
me, I know it'll be injustice on Yashasvi, but then I have an interesting combination, that is Rohit and Virat should open for T20 World Cup. Otherwise, then you fit
Open.
in each other. Open the batting. Rohit, because Virat opens for RCB anyways. Then these both, because
I don't
otherwise I
see
don't
this.
see
I mean,
Virat
ये
and
फिर जबरदस्ती हुआ. For me, this is like जबरदस्ती fitting because they're
it is
because
Zabardast
come on.
fitting. That is what it is. Sai, what do you think?
Yeah.
If you have to fit
I
Virat,
mean,
you
if you
or else you
feel
have to.
Rohit, yeah, if you feel Rohit and Kohli opening again, अगर ऊपर से दो आउट हो गए तो केएल फिर से नीचे आके शटर डाउन कर देगा फिर, राइट?
That is.
That's like yeah.
हाँ,
I still think
right,
in T20 that is workable, right? Because then you can have Ishan at 3 or Sanju at 3. Then you can have Surya at 4. 5, you can play with Rinku. 6, Hardik. 7, Jadeja. That is still a better combination because Shubman, Yashasvi, and Virat, everybody cannot fit into one team. You
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
have one of them out.
Absolutely. I mean,
right.
Yashasvi, Ruturaj, they look good, man. I mean, it's a T20, and I
I
think
think
we
Virat himself prefers to bat at the top of the order, at the 1 or 2. If you look at his IPL stats, he's played at his best when he's opened the batting. I know he's had phenomenal knocks at 3 and 4, number 3 for India, but the fact of the matter is then you can't fit in a keeper batter. Or else then you have to open with Ishan and Rohit, which is another possibility, which
no.
I don't see is workable as well. Now you have to find a keeper. Or his Rishabh Pant should be well and fit. He should have a phenomenal IPL. He should start keeping. That is your next option. And then he can come at number 5 and do a job for India.
Yeah, I mean, being a keeper is a
Right,
big plus. I mean, that's all I can say out of this. You be a
right.
keeper, Mariadi problem solved.
Because what is good,
Actually,
I
I
think,
feel,
yeah, go ahead,
yeah,
sir.
I mean, I feel कि they don't have an option because the only option we have is KL. अगर KL, let's take if Sanju was there in the team, अगर वो perform कर देता, then they had option, right? So that's why they are going with the safer option कि we don't want any competition for KL.
The issue
But
is that like you don't have a middle order keeper batter in the team. Rinku cannot keep. Rinku is very one-dimensional when it comes to his skill set. He's a great fielder, but a batter. He doesn't offer you anything with the ball either. So you can't drop Rinku also because he's now slowly transforming into this finisher you wanted in the team. He's able
I
to
think he's the
absorb.
best finisher we've seen post Dhoni already. Who
I
is
don't think it's already too much to put on the young kid,
no,
but
but
I'm
like,
just
come on, I think like पिछले 3 साल से IPL में the composure that I've had with him, right? Like even before the 5 6s, like he had played a couple of innings. I remember one against it was Gujarat Titans before the like the last season when we already lost the game, and he just did something, and for a moment you thought, oh my god, we might actually sneak
yeah.
one. So I mean I don't know, the composure he gives you with him being on the pitch is just amazing, and that's something I've not seen post Dhoni. I mean, just that. I'm not even going on to the abilities. But you know what? Like, I mean, Sanju, I mean, we've had this conversation, and maybe we're stretching it too much, but Jitesh Sharma coming in, Sanju not even having a sniff here. I don't know. By retirement, le US chale ja. I don't know.
Okay,
What's
so
up?
India have got some changes to the team today. The team is announced, and India batting again. So Shreyas Iyer makes a way in. He's a vice captain of the team as well. Then you have Prasidh Krishna, who's dropped, obviously. Then
Yeah, good,
Mukesh Kumar makes his way back in, and
good.
Jitesh Sharma gets a game today, surprisingly. So yeah, that's another thing. Or else, if you have to look at Jitesh Sharma as your finisher cum keeper at Rinku's position at number five, because I don't see anything other than a keeper batting at the top of the order, then you have to have Virat and Rohit play along as well. That is going to create a lot of havoc. Because in my team, you have to have a Yashasvi playing in this team. Then you can have a Rohit or a Virat because Yashasvi is a shoe in. I know about Rutraj Gaikwad, but Yashasvi, the dynamism he brings, he's an attacking player. He is what the modern day T20 needs because you have to take the game as modern day demands need. You cannot go what Pakistan is doing. Like Babar and Rizwan has to play, so we'll bat at 110, 120 strike rate is inside.
I mean, for Jaiswal, sometime I see Gilchrist in him, to be honest, top of the order, very aggressive and all. So,
Yeah.
yeah, he will be there. But one thing to mention, as you just mentioned about IPL, will always have a huge impact because every game have, means every big tournament, we always have impact of IPL. And we all are talking about Rinku and all, Hardik and all. पता चलेगा कि बाद में डीके आके he again enter the team.
Yeah.
Right. So anything can happen, or it's all about the whole build up right now it's going on because we hardly have 5, 6 T20Is right now before the World Cup international games, right? And to be honest, you cannot take Afghanistan very lightly because now they will come as contenders, right? Because because उनके पास they do have the same team itself, right? उनके पास भी ज़्यादा कुछ changes नहीं होंगे. They almost have the T20 team itself, right? And if they, to be honest, if they defeat us in one of the game in the series, then we will not get surprised, right? But to be honest, अभी T20 में कैसा है? Every team have a chance. Even though the qualifiers they had, like Ireland, Scotland, sometimes they can be more dangerous than
Yes,
these.
World Cup, man.
Yeah, so they can be more dangerous as compared to these top eight ranking teams, right? So yeah, I mean IPL will have because international players भी होंगे IPL में, right? Other players will be also there, not only Indian players, Australian
Yeah,
player होंगे, right? England
yeah,
player होंगे, then
yeah,
Afghanistan के player होंगे. Every player will have.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
this is a huge
Yeah,
impact.
that's right. And Atik, I think it's one of the biggest World Cups in a long, long time. Finally, you are having a World Cup kind of a World Cup because you have 20 teams from all continents, Africa, Europe, all across. And then you have a Uganda team was qualified for his first major ICC tournament. That's massive. So what do you reckon, Antariksh? I think T20 format is definitely growing in terms of capturing the larger scale of
Yeah.
countries and globalizing the sport, you reckon?
Yeah, I think this is one of the few positives of T20 cricket over the long period of time for cricket itself. Like we have seen, T20 cricket been demonized. First of all, being monetized to a very high level, then being over demonized, for spoiling the spirit of the sport, the essence of the sport. But here is where you can actually use it for the benefit of the sport, right? A country like Uganda, when they qualify for a T20 World Cup, they feel all right. We have two more World Cups, and we should be the World Test Championship. Of course, that's way ahead. But like I'm just saying, from a board, what do you think? Okay, ODI World Cup or a test hai. Why not? Like they'll receive eyes, they'll have sponsors, they'll get money, they'll spend that money. They'll probably have Indian players, subcontinent players now going into their country and playing for them. So it's like a cycle that gets started with all of these small changes. And then later, वो एक permanent associate member ban gaye, and then they're fighting off with the likes of Ireland, Zimbabwe, all of these guys more regularly. So this is where T20 can come into the picture because T20 is a low maintenance format of the sport. You can create players more easily, and you can publicize the sport more easily. You can have tournaments more easily. So, and you can have a couple of games in one day in one ground because not every country has access to good facilities and to good amounts of funds. So very, very, very good initiative. I think one of the best initiatives ICC would have taken by globalizing the sport too. Because generally speaking, it's like football we see, right? It's a sport of the world, right? So yeah, majorly एक Asia का sport है with some subsidiary countries adding to it. So it's good that
Absolutely.
Africa, Europe, North America comes into the picture. Hopefully, South America, Brazilian cricket team, hopefully in the coming years. But yeah, man, love, would love to see them there.
Absolutely. I, mean, I think it's going to be very interesting T20 World Cup because of one reason. A lot of teams. Secondly, it's going to be playing USA and West Indies. Different vibe all of a sudden. And hopefully, we're going to see a lot more entertainment. The host country, West Indies and USA, doing well will be great to see. And alongside that, you're going to see new venues, new teams, young minds. So that's why T20 World Cup 2020 is going to be one exciting tournament to watch. Uh, कौन पिच रहेगी बोल दिया ड्यू पर बताइए कौन सी पिच रहेगी बॉल या स्पिन आई थिंक आज के पिच तो फ्लैट ही रहने वाला है रायपुर का पिच है और ड्यू तो रहेंगे ही अभी आजकल तो आजकल तो विंटर चल रहा है नॉर्थ इंडिया में तो ड्यू तो रहेगा ही आई थिंक लास्ट मैच में भी ड्यू रहा था गुवाहाटी में शायद
Yeah,
so that's the
yeah,
reason why it's very
absolutely,
high.
man. Yeah.
So I think obviously the team's batting second is going to get a lot of advantage. But as you mentioned, Australia has a weaker batting in comparison to the last game. You have Josh Philippi, then obviously Travis Head is still there to haunt us as always. He's become there and thereabouts in India now. Then there's Tim David, who's a strong striker of the ball. Matthew Wade भी है. So I think it's going to be an interesting game to watch because of that reason. But bowling attack काफी weak लग रहा है मेरे को ऑस्ट्रेलिया का. Ben Dwarshiers, Chris Green. Chris Green, I remember, he had this bowling action suspect for when he played for KKR as well long ago. So yeah, this is the team so far, and that's about from us as well. We've had a long and lengthy discussion on India's T20 teams. We'll have discussion as the South Africa tour comes along as well. We're not so far away from that South Africa T20, which is going to be there and thereabouts very soon. Thank you guys once again for joining. Obviously, we're going to have a great time talking more about the sport in depth. See you all and take care. Bye bye.